What's going on, Dodgers Nation? You're now home with Dodgers Nation and Jim Beam. Please drink responsibly. Welcome to another edition of Designated Twitter. On today's show, what is your hottest Dodgers take right now? And let us know down below in the comments section. What is your hottest Dodgers take right now? Hey, if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And if you really want to support the channel, smash that like button. And for all the latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. So on today's episode, we're looking for your hottest Dodgers takes. And I asked the staff here that question. What is your hottest Dodgers take right now? And here were their takes.
My Dodgers hot take is that they will do absolutely nothing during the trade deadline. They're going to hope their bullpen gets better internally. They're going to wait for Dustin May to come back. They're not going for any starting pitchers. Maybe Walker Buehler is going to come back eventually this season, obviously towards the end of the season. And they're going to wait for Julio to come back as well. And they're just going to hope and pray that Miguel Rojas does his thing at shortstop, and then Mookie does his thing at shortstop. So absolutely no trades for the Dodgers come late July, early August.
My Dodger hot take is that Bobby Miller is the Game 1 starter in the postseason this year. Yes, I know that is crazy. This man has made 4 starts as of right now. He's just a rookie. But right now, I trust him more than anyone else to make that start. Clayton Kershaw's not usually Game 1 starter. We don't know what Julio Urias looks like right now. So I want to see Bobby Miller take that Game 1, and whether it's a wild card, NLDS, I trust him right now. I think his success is going to sustain. So Bobby Miller, Game 1 starter.
My Dodgers hot take is, and do not get mad at me, I predict that the Dodgers will trade Diego Cartaya. And our guys on Blue Heaven discussed this just a few days ago, so check that out if you haven't already. But the Dodgers need to capitalize on this season. They didn't make a ton of moves this past free agency. And, I mean, everybody wants to get Shohei Ohtani, but that is kind of one of the biggest questions of the season. So I think the Dodgers really need to take a look at this roster, see that Clayton Kershaw could be playing his last season, see that not a lot of people respect their 2020 championship, and they should go all in and trade one of their biggest prospects right now.
So those were their fire takes, but here were your takes over on Twitter. Nanya tweeted, Dodgers don't figure it out, set MLB record for most stolen bases against them. Ultimately, it becomes our downfall against Atlanta or Arizona in the playoffs. Roberts gets fired. Wow, a lot of hot takes to unpack in that one. One on the stolen base front. Yes, it is bad. 85 stolen bases against the Dodgers this year. They've only caught 9 base runners. They've been terrible. You haven't seen the sidesteps. You haven't seen them changing their cadence. Like I said, Cody picked the name up for me during Blue Heaven when I dropped the name, but I talked to a very reputable person within the Dodgers organization that said that they have not focused on this enough, teaching the Dodgers pitchers how to hold base runners. It is a problem. So I agree it definitely could hurt them, especially in the postseason, especially against an Arizona Diamondbacks team that they're looking up to in the division. Lots of athleticism, lots of talent, lots of great base runners. It definitely could hurt them. As far as Roberts getting fired, I think, look, the only way that Roberts gets on the hot seat is if they miss the playoffs. If they miss the playoffs completely, they don't even make it to the wild card round, I could see him getting canned, but I also think that Dave Roberts is a part of the plan. I think the plan for Dave Roberts, who already signed that extension a few years ago, was, hey, we're going to get through this season. We're going to see if we can contend. We're going to sign a lot of these guys on one-year deals, the JD Martinez's, the Peraltas. You got Jason Hayward, Noah Syndergaard. Thor was the thud, but they gave that a shot. They said, hey, we're going to go into this year trying to give some of these young players experience. They went all in on the youth movement. They went all in on the one-year contract guys to maintain that flexibility. That way, if this Shohei Ohtani or some other marquee free agents become available, they'll go after him. But I don't think Dave Roberts gets fired. I just don't think that's going to happen unless they miss the playoffs completely. And then next, we got LA fan in San Diego. The Dodgers don't need to make a trade. So that's your hot take. So I'm assuming, I'm operating on the assumption that you're saying that they have all the internal options they need to win the World Series without making a trade. I would disagree with you wholeheartedly on that one because, look, you already saw Noah Syndergaard hasn't worked out. You've already seen the bullpen just hasn't looked the part. We'll see how Daniel Hudson looks when he returns. If he can come in, play the part, be another high-leverage guy, that's going to be big. That's going to go a long way into fortifying this bullpen. But I think at the very least, you do need to add another arm. You do need to add another bat that can match against lefties. I think ideally, you add another starting pitcher. In the event that some of these other guys don't work out, also you protect yourself from injuries. We've seen the injuries pile up, especially late in the season. You saw in 2021 what happened. You lose Clayton Kershaw. You saw what happened last year in 2022. You got guys that are running out of gas, and you saw Max Scherzer at the dead arm in 2021. So you can never have enough starting pitching, and the reality is you're not going to go far in the postseason unless you have guys you can count on. I think they could use, at the very least, one more arm because I just don't believe that Dustin May is going to come back and be the guy that we saw early on in this season. If he does, that's great. You look at it as a cherry on top, icing on the cake, but you can't bank on it. We have to learn from our mistakes. And if this team truly is all in, you have to go out there and make a trade. So I disagree with you, but hey, we'll see. Next, we've got Mike V, who tweeted they trade Cartaya in a package to the Cubs for Strowman and Belly. So I don't know if you're in a mind meld with Noel over there, because he suggested the same thing, that the Dodgers will be trading Diego Cartaya. And I'll tell you, for that package, for a Marcus Strowman and a Cody Bellinger, who first of all, he's out with the injury right now. He's on the IL with a knee contusion. And his last month, he's had a sub 600 OPS. He's back to being struggle bus Belly once again. He's not a guy that I think you want to bring back. Some of your exes you might want to consider getting back with. Belly isn't one of those guys. I think if he comes back, you're not going to get an above average bat. Yes, defensively, we know he can play the center field position at an above average level, but I just don't see it. And Marcus Stroman's another guy. We know he's filthy when he's on. Is he a guy that moves the needle in the postseason? For me, the answer is no to that one. And I think for Diego Cartaya, let's not forget, this is a guy that's 21 years old. This is a guy who's the top prospect in one of the best farm systems in all of Major League Baseball. You got to get more from that. You got to get more of a haul, a bigger fish for Diego Cartaya than a Marcus Stroman and a Cody Bellinger. To me, that's what you use if you want to go big game hunting. If you want to go after the Sandy Alcantara types, the big names that could potentially be available down the line, I think maybe you consider parting ways with some other prospects in the top 10. But Diego Cartaya for Marcus Stroman and Cody Bellinger, absolutely not. Next, we got Nicholas Bear, who tweeted, Dodgers trade for Drew Smiley, one of my top 2 or 3 starting pitcher targets, starting pitcher 4, starting pitcher 5, under contract through next year at $8 million, $10 million mutual option in 2025. Wouldn't cost us too much in a trade package. Can move to bullpen when the playoffs begin. Innings eater. Thanks, Cody, for putting someone's senior thesis on this tweet. I appreciate that. But a longer tweet from Nicholas. And look, I think you look at Drew Smiley, another guy, he could help this team. But I think if the internal options, if you're banking on them being healthy, I think they have better internal options. But interesting, and I think we bring up a good point in that if they are going to make a trade this season, it's not going to be for players that are under team control for too many years. He definitely checks that box off, but I just don't see him making a trade for Smiley. And then next we got XHNIC, who tweeted, let Muncy go and roll the dice with Michael Busch. Now, I think Michael Busch, he's a guy who, if they do swing for a big trade, if they do swing for the fences on a big deal, he's going to be one of the centerpieces for that trade. Because look, the reality of the situation with Michael Busch is they haven't played him much in the outfield this season. They really haven't developed that skill in him. He doesn't have the positional versatility that they covet to say that, hey, we like him at second, we like him at third, we like him in the outfield. No, it's pretty much they like him as a second baseman. He came up playing a lot of first baseman. So really, they don't have a position for him for this Dodgers team moving forward. Can the kid rake? Absolutely. Does he have a hit tool that I think is going to play up at this level? I absolutely do. I think there's a chance that he can have success, but I also think too, if you squint, you see some Max Muncy in Michael Busch, and a guy that can hit for slug, can hit for power, has bat to ball, but also has that eye at the plate. He's got that plate discipline, doesn't expand the zone. Last year at the minor league level, saw almost 4 pitches per at bat. This year, that's actually increased. So he's getting even better at the plate. But as far as letting Muncy go and rolling the dice with Michael Busch, they're not going to do that because one, Max Muncy is a proven postseason player. This is a guy that has been one of the better postseason players, a slugger, a guy who has walk-off home runs in the World Series, a guy that's came up big. And I think, too, you just bet on the fact that Max Muncy is a guy that can be a bopper for you in the middle of that lineup when it matters most. Michael Busch is a team with that many veterans going to rest all their, going to bank and bet on a Michael Busch there to try to learn on the fly to play in between guys like JD Martinez and Will Smith and Freddie Freeman. I just don't think that's going to be the case, but I do think he has a bright future, but I think he's going to be a part of the trade. And this next one is our Dodgers Nation designated Twitter tweet of the week presented by our friends over at Hornitos. Please drink responsibly. This comes from Jimmy Choi, who tweeted, none of these replies are hot takes. This is a hot take. Altman will add a Muncy-esque shuffle step and return to his April Rookie of the Year form. Very interesting because, look, they have tinkered with his setup. They have tinkered with a lot of the mechanics of his swing. And one thing they did early in the year was they widened his stance. So I think you're onto something in that is is possibly the root of his problem. Do I think that that's going to help him? I don't think that's the case. I think for him, it's more above the waist. I think for him, it's about getting into his swing quicker. I think it's building the confidence. But if you can get an April-like Rookie of the Year form, James Outman, that could change a lot of things. But my hot take, though, I guess I got to include a hot take. I'm going to join the fun here. I still think the Dodgers are going to make a trade. I think they will make a trade because they realize the veterans they have. They realize the competition around the National League isn't stiff. I mean, yes, you have some good teams. You got the Braves. You have the Arizona Diamondbacks, a team that, other than Nelson and Zach Gallen, do they really have the pitching depth to go the distance? I think they see an opportunity, just like it was in 2018 when they made it in there and they go against the Brewers in the NLCS and they find a way to get to the World Series, that it's really anyone's ball game. You don't have that dominant juggernaut of a team in the National League. And I also think, too, the White Sox make a ton of sense right now. And if they're going to make a trade, it's going to be for players that aren't under team control for multiple seasons. And I would like to see him go out there and trade for Lucas Giolito, Harvard-Westlake kid from Santa Monica, California, 6'6", big dude on the mound, pitched a no-hitter in his career. And so far this season, he hasn't been at his best. A 3.54 ERA, a 24.9 strikeout rate, a 7.4 walk rate. The FIP is over 4, but he's starting to look the part. A 6.9 giggity ERA in the month of June. Last start pitched to Jim, 7 innings. He was fantastic. I think you could get him in this rotation at a spot where he can absolutely contribute. I also think, too, a slider dominant pitcher. Mark Pryor and this organization, they love that. Working that four seam, working that slider. He has the pitch mix. And also, you throw in a reliever. Now, whether that be a Joe Kelly or a Liam Hendricks, I'll take one of them. I think Hendricks, if he's healthy, he's on the IL, has that elbow pain right now. But if he can be healthy, he's another guy where if you trade for him, he automatically gets his option next year vested. So it's around 14, 15 million, and he's your closer for next season. I think one thing we've learned early on is Dave Roberts and this team, they need a closer. I mean, one of the reasons why their road record is so abysmal, why their road ERA is so abysmal, is they've been walked off on the road. You're facing the opponent for an extra at-bat, and that's part of the reason why they have struggled. Of course, you have other conditions. I mean, you got the road crowd, you're traveling, getting into your hotel 2, 3 a.m. There's also different factors as well, but I think one of the reasons, too, is, yeah, you have to face the top of the lineup towards the 8th or 9th inning, and you want to define closer. So you got Hendricks next year being the closer if you trade for him. Joe Kelly, come on, it's Joe Kelly. There's murals around this town for Joe Kelly. He is a Dodger legend. He's a part of Dodger lore forever for throwing at the Trastros back in 2020. And the reality is he's just good this season. I mean, ERA is a little high, but the strikeout rate, the stuff is really good. I think he's not being utilized correctly in Chicago. I think he would light a fire under this bullpen. One of the things I've heard from some people in the bullpen, some of these players, is you don't really have a leader in that bullpen. And David Price is a guy that would provide leadership. Not that many veterans in this bullpen right now. Joe Kelly could solidify that from a leadership standpoint as well. You see him out there playing paper, rock, scissors with the fans. I mean, this guy is great for the fan base. And also Tim Anderson. I mean, I think Tim Anderson, you trade for TA, great friends with Mookie Betts. They bonded. They became BFFs in the World Baseball Classic. And I think if you trade for Tim Anderson, who's having a down year, he has struggled. He has not even hit a home run so far this season, but he's dynamic at the plate. He does something that a lot of these Dodger hitters that tend to go for the slug. He's more of a bat to ball guy. A guy likes to get on base. When he's on base, you see he can steal some bags. Doesn't take very many walks, even though he took a 4-pitch walk from Tony Gonsolin yesterday. He's a guy that's a spark plug, a guy that needs a change of scenery right now. And also, too, playing that shortstop position, Mookie Betts, maybe you see Mookie Betts in center field. We know Mookie Betts could be a Gold Glove center fielder, and you have Jason Hayward and David Peralta and Chris Taylor at the corner outfield spots, because I'm just not confident that James Outman is going to be that guy. And then you put Miguel Rojas in a favorable position, in the position that he was traded to do. Be the guy that's supposed to be your Swiss Army knife, a guy that you can play at multiple positions around the infield. You can give Miguel Vargas a breather. You can play third base. You can play shortstop, and that's a role he's better suited for because, yeah, there's a lot of season to go, and to expect Miguel Rojas to be your everyday starting shortstop when it's such a physically demanding position, I think it's a little unrealistic. So give me that big blockbuster trade. Give me Tim Anderson. Give me Lucas Giolito, and give me either Joe Kelly or Liam Hendricks. I'm going to feel really good good about that. And I'm actually dropping a video too tomorrow where we're dropping specific trade packages and who the Dodgers could include in that deal. But let me know down below in the comments section, what is your hottest take? I want some hot takes. I want the Carolina Reaper pepper, which is the hottest pepper in the world right now. I want takes like that, scalding hot. Give me your hottest takes. Don't say crazy stuff. Don't say the Dodgers are going to trade Clayton Kershaw or anything wild like that, but give me your hot takes down below. My name is Doug McCann. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMAC_LA. For all things Dodger baseball all season long, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.